thank you, Jagdish, for taking time out us and probably talking to us this evening. And it's first of all, congratulations for, obviously it's not a very new role now. It's almost, I guess, more than 7-8 months now in your new endeavor. So probably we'd like to first understand about your excitement towards this new role, how things have been. I know it's a very initial stage of your being part of this organization, but how are you gelling into the system and how you are planning to kind of take the growth journey of CrowdStrike forward? So if you could start with that a little bit.
Thank you for having me over here. I'm excited to be talking to you. In a nutshell, I haven't come across a technology like CrowdStrike in last decades, which got me so exciting. Being part of cybersecurity industry for last decade, we've obviously struggled with some problems that we're not able to solve for the customers. So our founders, George Kurtz and Dimitri, really focused on bringing in some revolution to really address some of the core problems of cybersecurity as the threat landscape was changing. Today, threat landscape is moved on from a malware-based approach to a lot of threats which are not based on any signature or file. So that needed a very, I would say, revolutionary approach to how we deliver security. So they developed the industry's first cloud-based security model. And those days, trust me, wasn't easy. So from there, we've come a long way. So we leverage a lot of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and we use this native cloud technology to deliver best-in-class security to all our customers.
Okay, so now you kind of take, as part of your portfolio, you take care of entire Asia Pacific, not Pacific, but Asia region, including India. So how has been the growth roadmap for this region, particularly since the time you have taken, or probably if you can take a step back, and in the recent times, last couple of years, how has been your foray into the market, and probably then we can build upon it.
Yes, so I look after Asia region, which is largely India, Southeast Asia, and some of North Asia countries.
Okay.
We are the bedrock of the most growing population in the world. I mean, it's youth across. We look at in India, half of the country is less than 35. We are consuming more and more digital every day, whether it's from a governance point of view or our banks, or just the way people are consuming technology on a day-to-day basis. Just makes us even more unsafe from a point of security, because we can see, look at me out here. I've got phones, I've got a watch which now starts, so I can take calls from there. I've got my apps running on it. So we're all surrounded by digital consumption points everywhere. I feel that this region even needs to be more aware of what risks are we running into. From a point of view of what we've started to see with large governments, we're seeing some massive nation-state adversaries trying to really create, and that's where we're saying, right, the future of war is going to be on the cyber plane. So we're starting to see that, and Asia is no exception. India is very well connected to the rest part of the globe, so we are not isolated, whether it's financial, whether it's telecom, or larger consumer markets. We believe that security has to be a top priority across the region, and we are seeing governments and banks really looking at it very strategically.
So when you come across this kind of situation and the changing market dynamics, where not only enterprises, the small medium businesses as well as governments across this region are riding on this digital wave, so what sort of effort being put to make them more secure and safe in this digital environment that we are living in today?
I think firstly there is a much broader understanding now. I would say a little more deeper understanding that when we start to deploy a technology, are we looking at the security priorities or not? Probably it wasn't the case a decade back. I think governments and banks are far more forward-thinking in that point of view. But I think what we're starting to see, and that's one of the reasons why we thought of bringing this revolutionary technology of CrowdStrike, was customers, large banks and governments are also straddled with all the technologies. You look at them, everybody has a firewall, they have antivirus technologies, they've got these web gateways, I mean, the elements are there. Why do we continue to still see some pernicious attacks, cyber attacks, and some of these breaches are really, I mean, financially and from a point of view, what data is getting exposed is actually scary. Why is that still happening? Which means some of those elements that have been put in place by large customers or government is not working. That's because that still has a significant blind spot to where really the attack landscape has moved. From that point of view, we believe that we can bring in some massive difference to the architecture, to the approach, and we believe that the journey just started, and we are very, very excited to partner with the governments and the banks across in the region.
So if you have to pick up few unique offerings of your solution, which makes you stand out of this highly competitive security market, what would be those like?
Yes, you're right. It's competitive. It is very noisy, and it's busy, which is also a good thing. But everywhere across, when I meet the CISOs and CIOs in the region, security is right on the top. So that's obviously is a massive, confidence booster that it is priority for one. The problem, the fundamental problem of security deployments of the past have been, and is that when you buy a technology, you still need a significant amount of manpower and infrastructure support to run it. So if you buy any of these technologies like a firewall or antivirus, and you spend X on it, you might have to end up spending about 2x to 3x in running it, with from a people cost or from infrastructure cost. That's one part. The second part is none of these devices were designed. Security never had one language right from day one, so they were not designed to talk to each other. So even if you have best of the breed solutions, they didn't have a unified approach. So there are two fundamental problems. And as attacks, today the time reaction time, we call it we have a definition called as breakout time. A breakout time typically is the time that an intruder or attacker needs to get in and compromise one system and then move laterally. So when you move laterally and infect more than 1 to 100 to 1000, it becomes a breach. So that breakout time today is about less than 2 hours, 1 hour 58 minutes. So the technologies of the past, can they help you detect a breach in less than that? Is the problem right now. Most of them are failing.
Okay. Since Jagdish, you mentioned that since it's a very noisy market and we know there are a number of players already applying, so how do you kind of create a strong foothold? Looking at the scenario, looking at the way market operates, the price undercutting, a lot of, we know how the market operates here, specifically if you look at the India market. So if you have to convince a CISO or a CIO, since especially looking at the fact that you are a fairly new entrant in the market, so just a 7.5-year-old organization, so what sort of compelling story that you create for your customers?
I'll probably pick on why are we different. First of all, CrowdStrike solution is a native cloud. We're the industry's first and only native cloud technology security provider. We don't ship any hardware boxes. We don't have any software licenses. There is no infrastructure load on the customer at all. All you have to do is, once we have a very lightweight sensor, 25 MB to 30 MB sensor that goes on and sits on the endpoints, whether it's servers or desktops, we start to use the telemetry data, use the crowd intelligence to provide almost 5-second visibility to all customers' endpoint traffic. I think that's revolutionary, and I'll tell you why. Because I told you the breakout time today, the time that customers have today is less than 2 hours, and we did a survey of top enterprise companies around the world. We found that the average time to detect and respond and investigate and respond is almost in 60 hours plus. It's almost into 2 days plus. Now we have this rule, a matrix called 1-10-60. I call it 1 minute to detect, 10 minutes to investigate, and 60 minutes to respond. Now that's literally what we believe is the best practice that customers have today. Now for you to be able to detect in 1 minute, the traditional on-premises technologies don't help. Because you need technologies you need empowerment like machine learning, artificial intelligence. You need a native cloud delivery model, and because on-premises will slow you down. And then you need better processes to really be able to respond in the less than 1 hour window. I think this whole 1-10-60 is what we mandate to our customers, and then we challenge that if your existing technologies really help you do that, by all means, then you are safe. If not, then we can help you get to that 1-10-60 metrics.
So you mentioned about detecting incidents and then responding to it, but there is a debate in market also which talks about more on the preventive side of it. So how do you look at it? There is a set of organizations who promote and talk more about the preventive measures, and there is one set of organizations that talk about the incident detecting and responding to it. So
I think there is no one of the things that I always believe is that one cannot get glued on to one way of responding to security breaches. You've got to have all the elements. So we don't hold on to saying there is only one best way to do it. One of the fundamentals we believe is if you want to secure a setup, you first need to observe. It's the fundamentals of, in physical life. You really want to know what's going on around you, you have to observe.
Right,
what's going on, what people are doing. So I think we believe in that. So you got to have better visibility. If you can just expose what's going on in the setup of our customers, that gives them first of all a clarity around that, and I think visibility is power. I think that's the first thing we provide. Now you can prevent many things for which there is a known file, there is a known signature, and that has worked in the past. But guess what? A bulk of those attacks today don't have a signature.
Right.
There could be privileged escalated access. There could be legitimate Windows functions being used by attackers to really, where you have no ways to really find that out because they don't have a file or a signature.
Right.
What do you do about that? That's a huge blind spot today. We believe that right approach is how can we leverage technologies like behavior analytics, machine learning and AI and give a quicker delivery model to be able to respond to these threats quicker. So you need to have all of that. The only prevent strategy hasn't proven to be successful in the past, so I don't see that approach will help our customers to be safe. So you need to really have a blend of everything, but fundamentally have a better visibility of what's going on.
Okay.
So we're able to take action at the right time.
So when you interact with customers, be it in India, be it in any of the Asia Pacific markets, what sort of commonality you see when it comes to the security challenges they face, or is every market has its own set of challenges? What has been your observation in that?
It's a great question. I mean, I wish I could say that everybody has different challenges, but it boils down to a few things. First of all, massive load on infrastructure, on people to run those solutions. Okay, because vendors have to do a good job of pitching in, it gets deployed, and then who runs it? Either it's a service provider or a partner who is running the security SOC, or the customers themselves. Now, in an industry where there is a massive shortfall of talent, I cannot imagine how a bank or someone who is not in the business of security will be able to hire security talent. It's a shortfall. So how do you get those people who can run those, even these products are great, how to run them? That's the first part. The second part is with the speed at which attackers are coming at us, the traditional technologies are definitely not able to scale up from a point of view of ability to respond on time, and the agents, the approach of putting in heavy agents in the past is slowing down their response system. So obviously those are things that they're massively grappling with, and then eventually I call it, I actually don't like this word, operationalizing the security setup. How do you make sure that all your investments, all your solutions can be operationalized on a unified dashboard? That's again they're struggling on. I think from our approach, we try and address some of that by reducing complete infrastructure load on it. Solutions don't need any infrastructure. It's a lightweight agent, easy to deploy, no load on the systems, but most importantly, give a unified platform which covers entire range of endpoint protection apart from threat intelligence. But most importantly, we integrate a lot of our ecosystem partners and use our dashboard to really help our customers leverage all their investments. I think as an industry, we've been making this promise for a long time. I'm very excited that from day one in CrowdStrike, we strived ourselves to deliver that.
So with this kind of pitch to the customers, has it been very easy to make inroads, or you have to face roadblocks as you have been going?
I always believe that anything that is disruptive has its own cycle of adoption, and so we always have a bunch of customers who are early adopters, and I think that's gone very well. And I think there are different maturity curves in different markets. There is a maturity curve of cloud adoption, there is a maturity curve of new security technology adoption, but there is no one who has come back and said that what you're showing us doesn't make sense. So I think we've seen significant interest from everyone. My team is always busy either doing a proof of value to a bank or to a large customer or a medium-sized customer, or they're coming back and telling us, tell us more. But look at it this way. to buy an expensive hardware box or software solution today, it becomes almost like a privileged, asset for large customers. Security needs to be democratized. What we fundamentally do is we provide top-class security solution even to a small and medium business because of our model. You don't really have to invest in a hardware box. You don't need to hire those people to run that. We really take care of that. I think from that point of view, we are striving ourselves to make sure that a top-level security solutions is available across the spectrum.
So in terms of your customers, vertical industries who have been the fast and early adopters and who are still, you think they need to be part of your ecosystem as such?
Surprisingly, we are seeing traction across. So from an India perspective, the banks, the IT services companies have always been at the top, at the front end of adoption. But we are also seeing significant interest from the mid-sized companies. Some of them are just pure manufacturing because they also know they have been attacked. Give an example, we had WannaCry, NotPetya last year. We are very humble to say that none of our customers were impacted because of our approach of not focusing on signatures and we're looking at indicators of attack, and we look at different ways by which we didn't have. So I think we're going back and telling our customers of where the real value is. Some of them can't even hire those people. They don't have that infrastructure. So I think we are seeing traction across the spectrum.
So are there any referenceable customers which we can take names while in the story, or you can talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, see, we have quite a few customers, but some of them obviously I can't reference. I can tell you about one public reference is HSBC globally, and they are present in India as well. They've been on Falcon sensor for some time, so I think they are one public case study that we are happy to share more details on.
Okay. So when specifically talking about the Indian market, since you have been or you have operated in this market before, you know this market much better than your colleagues out there. So how has there been a different approach for this market as such?
I think 2-3 things. I think India always offers its own set of opportunity and challenges, and I think it's how you look at it, right? I mean, it's an opportunity. I always say that it's an opportunity if you look at it as an opportunity at Cambridge. I think it's a balance of both. The first thing India brings on, and in CrowdStrike we open as Innovation Center in Pune, which I think really puts India very different from the rest of the geographies, and that's the strength we bring in. And Pune facility is on. We're going to roll out more and more products out of that. So that makes India very strategic. India's also got a strong base of endpoint. Whether you look at large IT services or government or so, I think that gives us a very nice landscape. The maturity curve of cloud and security adoption has its own learning, but we are seeing very smart CISOs and CIOs really looking at this revolutionary technology. So I'm extremely pleased by the kind of interest we've seen from customers here to adopt.
So your past experience, your connect with the customers and partners here is certainly going to help you to kind of further bolster your growth here in India?
Yes, of course. I mean, I always believe that there is an equity of relationship that people are comfortable with. So I'm relatively little more known to folks here. I spend more time still in India. But I think what's important here is to not go back and tell them, there is another technology. What we are trying to say is that you've got a few things in place. Here is what you've got. It helps you take your security posture and architecture to the next level. By all means, we are ready to go. I think that's the engagement we are in. We're also massively focusing on training the partners because our technology is disruptive. It is revolutionary, and partners need to learn those skills as well. So while we are going out and obviously the partner ecosystem is ready, but we are also trying to be careful that we train them up and get them ready because they need to take our message rightly as well. So we are very focused on really enabling our partners.
So what sort of partner ecosystem do you have currently?
It's a very broad base, right? We have a Partner Elevate program which obviously looks at the traditional channel model of go and resell. I think security is starting to get more value add conversation there. So I have a managed services program, we have an OEM embedded program, we have cloud platforms where in the marketplace our products are available. So route to market is many, and whatever floats their boat, and we got their programs ready to make that work for them.
So any specific go to market strategy that has been followed, looking at the brand presence here in India, and there are already big giants operating this market, and so has there been any different approach towards acquiring new partners, getting them trained and all?
I think we are from a point of view of choosing partners, we are really looking at from a point of view of from a capability, because this is a technology which needs to be very well understood and be showcased, and the partners need to be enabled. So we are focusing on partners who are on the cutting edge of security offerings.
Okay.
So there are large SIs, there are worldwide SIs as well, but there are some boutique partners we are focusing on. What we are not trying to do is go after every partner in the ecosystem and go after it, because that's not the right way. We believe that we're going to look at more value added and boutique partners from India space and as well.
True. So what's the base of partners here like in India as of now?
I don't have the real count. We can give you that figure, but as we start saying, we are continuing to keep adding our partner base every quarter.
So any specific program being run to build on the competencies, capabilities, since security, especially this endpoint protection and all, is a very niche area, and looking at the dearth of skill sets in the market, wherein at one side there are large set of traditional channel play partners operating in the country, and on the other hand there are born in the cloud kind of partners.
True.
So are you kind of looking at more of these new breed of partners, or you also aligning with the traditional guys?
No, I'm more than welcome to get more partners, because it's so exciting and it's pretty easy to deploy. In fact, they will love it when I start to use that technology. First one, it's a global campaign we've been running, is the AV, is our next generation AV campaign.
Okay.
We have a test drive campaign where we are reaching out to customers, to our partners can leverage that. They leverage that program and they can go and showcase that to our customers. That's the first one. We're also spending a lot of time in enabling and training. We got certifications that they got to go through, from a basic EDR technology, which is where the fundamentals are, and then we are unleashing a series of threat hunting workshops in next few months, where you really want to take some of these concepts back, because today it's the whole idea of threat hunting is you can't sit down and wait for the attackers to come at you. You really have to go after them from a point of view, looking at potential behaviors and finding out suspects, and those are all new areas that our partners can add value back to our customers. So we're spending a lot of time with our customers as well as our partners to really expose them to all these new areas by which they can get more secure.
Talking about your Pune R&D center.
Yes.
So any particular reason that why Pune was chosen, and how much support Pune center is providing to your global product development things and all?
I don't have the exact figure of how much, but I can tell you why, because we felt like Pune was the right bedrock of education, more certified people, more technical people out there, young population. So we kind of really chose that. I mean, the choices we had, but we felt like Pune was fitting in very well from a point of view of talent availability.
So what sort of total number of people currently employed there?
We obviously, the plan is to really explore, keep growing in the next few years. Right now it's a start right now, but what we want to do is all our key functions in engineering and so many other support functions will start to support our global team from here.
So lastly, before we end this discussion, whenever there is anything new that comes in the market, and looking at the brand of CrowdStrike not being fairly present in India, we have heard about it, but since it's a new brand, obviously it's a psychological that people are ready to change.
Yes.
People are not really adaptive. There are a lot of queries, so how you sort of kind of, despite being in the market in a different capacity for so long, what sort of, how you are able to convince your partners here in that?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think a lot of my dear friends and CISOs are saying you've told us something else. Here is my answer to this, a simple answer. We offered the best that we had then. I think the threat landscape has moved, and here is what I've got something better to offer. I think what the difference here is are we another security company with another buzzy, shiny toy? We're not. We are a platform. We are disruptive from a point of view of that I don't have an on-prem solution. I don't have the hardware, I don't have the software. I haven't done that. In security, I haven't seen a vendor doing it. Dedicated on delivering on a native cloud technology. So that makes us very different. And then fundamentally, our tagline is that in today's time, gone are the days when you could say that I've stopped this virus, I've stopped this malware. What matters, end of the day, when I ask these CISOs and CIs, what matters? Have I stopped the breach for you or not? And we fundamentally are a breach prevention company. At the bottom line of it, our tagline is we stop breaches, and that's what matters. So when we start to show that value with our dashboard, which is so user friendly, it starts to unravel the real value it brings into customers. I think that's where the proof of the pudding is.
Okay. So any larger message that you want to set out to your customers, to your partners through our platform, that why they should trust CrowdStrike more than anyone else?
Well, the first thing is look at the pedigree of our founders, George Kurtz and Dimitri. They've been in the industry for long, and they've been in across, and they know it all. So definitely make sure that you're following someone who knows the technology well. That's the first part. Keep looking at our innovation in last few years. Keep watching out how we are leading that. Look at how we are getting validated by the analyst. When you look at Gartner's, Forrester or IDC, all of them put us in leadership quadrant. So that gives us a little bit more, obviously validation back from the analysts. So we are grateful for that. Very strong adoption of our technology across the best of the companies in the globe. It is US, Europe, or across the market. And here I am to really make sure that we take this message back into more and more customers across in Asia and particularly in India. So watch out for that space. We are absolutely focused on in making sure that cybersecurity is there to keep our customers safe. And eventually, I always believe that in a noisy market there is always a new brand, but I think what starts to stand out is what is really the difference that we bring on table, and that is really our dashboard. It is really our Falcon platform, which is backed by a very strong threat graph technology. Again, I don't want to get down to details, but those are things that we find gives us significant advantage to address our adversaries and attackers for our customers.
All right. Thank you, Jagdish. Thanks a lot once again for taking our time today and talking to us, and it was a pleasure talking to you as always.
Thank you
once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.